Mr. Chairman, I like to focus in on one thing, and that is a couple of years ago, there was a sort of the storm of the century in the Northeast, and there was about $50 billion it cost the federal government to pay for the damages that were done there. Also, back a few years ago, I have relatives in Chicago and in Oak Ridge, and I've toured both the national laboratories there. Seems like maybe one, maybe both were working on some fiber for composite material that would be way less expensive than what it is at that time. And that was, I was interested mainly in the construction industry because of resilient construction. I've been trying for a few years here to get, finally got resilient construction defined, so now we have it defined. And yet I could see the real potential with composite materials in construction area, not only from a lightweight, but also a durability, so that when we have these storms, you know, our loss may have been in the hundreds of millions, but not $50 billion. Could someone talk about, maybe Dr. Tirrell, of what's going on at the national laboratories in that research area?
Thanks for that question. That's one of many kinds of efforts in composite materials, some of which are based on additive manufacturing, some of which are based on new polymerization methods. Many of these things have organic plastic components to them. That's where the lightweight comes from.
Would that also, can I just say,
sure,
would that facilitate using these 3D printers?
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what I was getting at, and I wanted to say something earlier too. I think there's huge frontiers on 3D printing. As 3D printing developed, it really wasn't 3D printing in a way. It was 2D printing over and over again. But now, by the application of other kinds of fields of light and so on, I'm a polymer scientist myself, so I'm thinking more about the organic materials than the metals. But one can make really spectacularly different 3D shapes than could be made in the early days of 3D printing of polymers. There's startup companies in this area. But anyway, at Argonne, which is what I'm representing today, we're trying to open up a field that we call manufacturing science.
By the way, Dr. Don Hillebrand gave me the tour.
Good, yes. Well, he's the director of our Energy Systems Division, and that's right. Manufacturing science refers to the new science questions that come up when you try to take something from the laboratory into larger scale production. You're doing it bigger, faster, cheaper, and the materials just don't behave the same way at that scale and at those time scales as they did in the lab. So Argonne is trying to be a leader in, as I said, what we're calling manufacturing science, which is new basic science applied to a manufacturing scenario.
Are you familiar with the term resilient construction?
Yes.
The whole idea is that you can use the building the next day.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Once the wind comes or whatever comes.
Yeah. Resilience in general is a big focus at Argonne, which extends beyond material science, but we're on materials here today. So.
Well, along with those same lines in science, there's, a matter of fact, it seems like there's a couple of universities offering corrosion engineering as a graduate degree, and it just seems like that the construction, especially in maybe the realm of steel or other things where there's so much corrosion, that there would be some usefulness in that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a huge economic drain. I mean, so far we've lived with it, but the point is, if you could stop it or make materials last longer, and there are various centers of excellence. It's not a particular focus at Argonne, but.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, Dr. Higgs, too, I'd like to say to you, come back to Georgia Tech. I just did the commencement exercise here a few weeks ago, but you were a great contributor at that time. It's been a while, but anyway.
Thank you.
When I graduated as an engineer, my mom gave me a card that said 4 years ago I couldn't even spell engineer. And then you open it up, on the inside it said, now I are one. So
Right.
I still are one, even though I'm got a different profession now.
Great.
Go back.
Did she ask for any repayment of the money back? I'm just,
She should have.
I understand. Our parents give us a lot, don't they? Miss Esther, you're now recognized for 5 minutes.